Forgiveness is about freeing yourself. And in today's video, I'm going to be showing you the guidelines that I learned from my experience and from lessons I learned on how to forgive and the power that lies in forgiveness. I also will be using a reference from the book called The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. Hello and welcome to Gracefully Growing. In today's video, we're going to be talking about forgiveness and letting go. Now, if you do have any more tips or lessons that you learned on forgiveness and letting go, please do leave in the comments down below. Please don't forget to subscribe, share, and like this video with anyone, and I hope that with anyone you know, and I hope that this video will help. Why does forgiveness matter? When I understood forgiveness was not about letting them off the hook, but it was allowing myself and giving myself the space to heal. Imagine sitting in a position where you're constantly thinking about the situation or about that person, and all you think about or all that comes up in your mind is, it is my fault, and you start blaming yourself or start questioning the actions or decisions that you made in that moment or in that time. And I started to think that everything happened because of me, or that it was always my fault. And that is what I was thinking all the time. But I'm going to take you to a reference that I've learned from the audiobook version called The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. And he said, resentment is like poison, expecting the other person to suffer. And when I realized this quote, that was when I realized what unforgiveness wants you to do. Unforgiveness wants you to stay stuck in that pain, in that resentment, in that guilt, constantly suffering, and not allowing yourself to be free, and not allowing yourself to have the peace that you know you deserve. And in that moments was the times that I realized God was speaking to me the most about forgiveness. He was making me realize the power that actually lies within forgiveness. Now, in order to understand what forgiveness is and how to let go, we first need to understand the main aspects of why it is important to let go. Important to let go. For your own self-love and sanity, please let go. As hard as this may sound, or as hard as it feels, it is the most self-loving act that you can give and do for yourself, because it helped me gain the clarity that I needed. And thus does letting go or forgiving someone does not mean you're letting them off the hook or allowing them back into your life. This just simply means you're giving yourself the time and the space to learn and to heal. Now, when I realized that this was one of the steps to healing, I realized that it was opening my eyes for me to feel and see. It was allowing me to feel and see the emotions the pent up emotions that I was having. Let go. As hard as it sounds and as hard as it feels, for your own self-love and sanity, this is actually the first step to you healing and growing. Because let me just make something clear. This is not about letting that person off the hook or allowing them back into your life, but it is actually you giving yourself the time and space to learn, grow, and heal. When I realized that this is the first step to healing, I immediately realized and knew how much power lies in letting go, because it was the most self-loving act towards myself, and it made me understand my emotions and feel it and see my emotions more clearly. It made me admit to myself how much I was actually hurt by the situation, where I could actually sit back and say, wow, this really did hurt me. This situation really did hurt me. This person really did hurt me. And it made me now understand what more clearly of the emotions I was feeling and how this situation actually made me feel. But I never had a negative impact or a thought about the experience. But now, me understanding what I was feeling and all the anger that I had inside of me, it was allowing me to all write it all clearly, to actually see what I needed to heal from and what I was going through at that time. And it was me also admitting to myself in a self-loving way that I needed the help. I didn't know how to heal. I didn't know what to do, that I actually needed that help. And that is where it lies in, and where this comes in and says, when I finally surrendered it everything to God and allowing Him to take control and allowing Him to take the wheel, this is where I finally understood that this was the first step to healing and growing. Because I would spend so many nights and so many months pondering on it, questioning it, and there was just more anger and emotions building up. I was so sick and tired of crying about it, pondering on it, thinking about it, thinking about the person, thinking about the situation. I was just fed up with it, that I finally decided that I was going to let God take control of it because I was so tired. And that is when I realized that if I don't deal with it now, in a few months or in a few years from now, I'm still going to struggle with it. But if I work on myself now and work on on letting go and healing now, in a few months, of course, it's going to take definitely more work than just forgiving and letting go. But in a few months from now, or in a few moments or years from now, I'm going to be in such a happy and peaceful place. And guess what? Me sitting in front of this camera and recording this video, speaking to someone that will watch it or that it is watching it, will show you the peace and the happiness that eventually comes along and that eventually comes into your life, because you suffering is not going to be long. It is just for that moment for you to learn your lessons and understand the thing that you experienced in your life. Now, leading to my next point, how do you forgive? One thing that I understood forgiving this person or situation was allowing myself to have the peace and self acceptance and self worth because I knew I deserved it. Because how long, if you think about it clearly, very clearly, how long have you spent having sleepless nights, crying about it, talking about it, and you still felt that you weren't justified enough? You still felt like you didn't deserve it. Because for me, I was always in that state of mind where questioning and saying, I'm at fault. I realize I'm at fault. And I realized one moment after forgiving and learning more and more as I went along, it was never my fault, and it was never my intentions. It was never, because as long as you know in those moments and in that time you spent that you had all nothing but positive intentions in your mind, then it is never your fault. But it is speaking more about them than about you. It helped me understand that I was so frustrated and tired of having nights where you would cry or you would speak about it, and it feels like no one wants to listen to you anymore because they're so tired of you speaking about it also. And it was about me realizing that this is a way, the first step that I'm taking to claiming my power back and taking that self-worth and peace I know I deserve. Now, step number one is write a letter to the person. Don't send it to them, but it's just for you to write everything out, mention their name, mention a few words that you'd want to say to them. This is going to help you get the closure with yourself and with the situation itself, because if you're writing everything out, it's going to make you gain an understanding of what the situation actually did to you, the damage it done to you. This is going to help you understand how this person made you feel in the moments, in the good moments, and in the bad moments. But it is also, if you do not feel comfortable writing a letter, you can just sit in your room, open up your camera roll, and start recording yourself. Pretend it could be you speaking to a friend or you speaking to someone that you really trust to help you get all that emotions out. It can be a way of you recording yourself, and also another form of you releasing that pent up emotions, frustration, and bitterness. Number two, now I want you to start using affirmations. Why does affirmations play a key in this? When I realized that there is power in affirmations when it comes to forgiving and letting go, was the moments, because there is going to be those moments where something could remind you of the person, something could remind you of the situation, or a thought of the experience you had could come along. could come along, but it's about reminding yourself that you're in the present moment where you have already made the peace with it and already forgiven the person. And it's gonna remind you and tell you that you have already forgiven the person, and that now you are more focused on, in your present moment, on healing and growing and reminding yourself of that healing and growth that you deserve. The affirmation is, say the person's name and say, I forgive you and I wish you nothing but the best, that God blesses you with your heart's desires and your goals, that you become the best person you want to become. This is not a reminder, this affirmation is not for them, but it is for you, because it's going to make you realize that when that thought comes, you're not going to be stuck in that moment of how difficult, or that dark time, or that negative experience that you had. It's not going to allow you to focus so much on the pain. It's not going to allow you to start feeling victimized or guilty, or having a good start to your day and then all of a sudden the thought comes up and you have a bad start. This is for you to remind yourself that you've already forgiven them and that you wish them nothing but the best, because it is going to give you that sense of peace and understanding to know, okay, I've already forgiven you. Why am I still stressing about this? Why am I still thinking about this? You can also find more affirmations on Pinterest. I will happily link or make a video on some, and hopefully it will help you. Brings us to the end of yet another video. Please don't forget to subscribe, share this video, follow me on Instagram, and let me know what you thought about this video and if this helped you as much as it helped me. And if you need any more videos like this, let me know in the comments down below. And also to know that God has your back and that God can help you with any struggles you are facing. And I will see you in the next one.